there that gave me some quick basic pointers, you know.
And I don't have show notes. I didn't know we were doing a show tonight.
Oh, you didn't?
We're doing a show every Saturday night.
With all those storms, I thought this was going to be canceled out tonight.
Well, we almost did.
Think about the one with the power went out on us.
Oh,
that
the
was
electric
a different
went
story.
out twice.
Not a storm, but it was a guy that ran into a pole.
I was kind of
Oh,
hoping,
yeah.
I was kind of hoping it
remember
went
something.
out. Then we could shoot this tomorrow or Monday when I'm more prepared, because I am not prepared.
Well.
My show notes are show 231, April 15, 2023. That's my notes.
Oh, that's
Which
all
should
we
be
need.
today at
That's all we
about
need now.
9:07 p.m.
All right, guys.
That's it?
Let's
At this
check
time?
our sound table here. Everything looks good. We have no camera operator tonight. Everything's got to be B-rolled. Talk slow and start right.
We can talk.
And we don't
slow.
have anybody to give us a countdown. So go ahead, and Daniel, give me a countdown.
All right. And in 3, 2, 1.
The What's Neat This Week video podcast is supported by enthusiastic model railroaders just like you. And by GL Robotics, with over 61 colors of 3D printing filaments in stock. Your gateway to new technology. Check out their website at glroboticsusa.com. Further support is provided by Microengineering, keeping you on track with quality products for 55 years. Check out their website at www.microengineering.com. Order from your local dealer or order direct by calling 1-800-462-6975. Additional support is provided by Spring Creek Model Trains, your destination for model trains. Stop in and say, wow. Check out their website at springcreekmodeltrains.com. And by Intermountain Railway Company, where the detail makes the difference. Check out their website at intermountain-railway.com. Additional support is provided by Yelsma Graphics, America's leading distributor of quality railroad art and embroidered clothing since 1985. Check out their website at yelsma.com. Further support is provided by the NCE Corporation, the power of DCC. Visit their website at ncedcc.com. And thank you for supporting the What's Neat This Week podcast. This is the What's Neat This Week show in model railroading, show number 231 for April 15th, 2023. That 15 number sounds like tax day to me, but it's been put off until Monday.
Yes.
I think that's the 18th for all those folks out there that haven't quite gotten around to it. Otherwise, you have your opportunity, of course, to file an extension, which will take you through November. That's the way to do it.
Yep.
Tonight, I've got amazing folks with me on the show. Starting over here, where Mike Budde always sits, we've got Mike Budde.
Hey, here I am.
Mike.
Thanks.
Oh my goodness, look who is sitting next to me.
Three and a half.
I have the youth in the hobby. Are you
Right.
still the youth? I have Daniel Coombs on the set. We were all so happy when he showed up tonight because we haven't seen you in so long.
Yes.
And going through the years, you were our youth. We learned from you. We watched you grow up. I still run that clip of you in your Boy Scout uniform.
Yeah.
You always got to remind me of that, don't you? It's great to be back, buddy.
I still have my Boy Scout uniform upstairs, too.
But yes, hi everyone. I'm
we are-
alive and well.
We are both
Glad you're here, Daniel.
Eagle Scouts.
Yes, sir.
Sitting all the way over on the end, I've got my favorite Steve Mantia. Hey, Steve.
Hello, how are you?
You've been doing a lot of shows,
Yes,
and
we
I'm going
have.
to ask you questions about that tonight.
Oh, good. I can't wait.
We had some absolutely amazing storms roll through at about 7 o'clock, an hour before showtime. Right
Yes,
now,
we
we're
did.
delayed an hour. The electric's been on and off a couple of times, but here we are doing what we do best, sharing the best hobby in the world with all of our viewers out there. I do want to say, starting out right away, Greg Summerland over at GNL Robotics reminded me that there are a lot of brand new machines on his website. I just now briefly printed off some of them. There are some amazing. He has really grown this company, and we are all so proud of the way things are going. He's selling the the craziness out of robotic lawnmowers right now. Those
Really?
are the lawnmowers that are automatic and run around your garden railroad and cut the grass better than a goat, and then they dock themselves and recharge themselves and then do it again. It's an amazing system. But the one thing, there's a lot of new printers on his website, and I invite you to go over to the website so that you can see the same thing I'm holding in my hand printed out in front of me. All of these amazing Mono X Photon 3D printers. The prices have come down a great deal. The size of the screen coverage has gone up 10 inches by, I think he said 6 inches or 8 inches. It's just gotten bigger, and you can still get a machine like that for under $600. His highest priced machine that I've seen on this website is a commercial duty 3D printer. And that is somewhere around $11,999 for the Flash Ford Creator 4. It's probably not something that us model railroaders would buy, but for those folks out there, know that this is a to-go source for 3D printers. He will Skype with you. He will help you with setup. He's got parts on his website. And Greg has been a great person helping us promote this hobby through our show, and we really appreciate the viewers that have purchased machines from him. So check it out at gnlroboticsusa.com. And that is actually pretty much everything on my show notes that I want to talk about. I will tell you that the May What's Neat will be finished tomorrow. I've got to get that out before this podcast comes out. The deadline is fast approaching. In fact, it's today. Today's the 15th. And all the content is there. We've got Denny Yelsma coming next week to be on the show. We also have the wonderful folks at Microengineering that contacted me today and said they would like to bring John and Jack and all the other brothers on the show sometime in May. And we have another great man, Ed Dickens, that we have scheduled for sometime in June.
Nice.
To give us an update and share with us what's going on with the Union Pacific Steam program. I know that he said to me that he's doing a lot of research, and they're researching the next scheduled run. They've got to go through the main line inch by inch, mile by mile, to make sure that everything is pre-set up to have that magnificent machine 4014 give us a show. And that is a show that I love to watch. So guys, let's start out with Steve Mantia, because we're going to shoot B-roll for everything tonight. We don't have any camera operators. Steve, what'd you bring tonight?
Okay, well, I decided that, I've been watching some of the shows, and we need to get a little O-scale again, because that's been, you get some little O-scale loving type of thing. And I decided to bring a flat car with the transformer load.
Oh, wow.
From MTH, just something that stands out that way. And then I brought one of the older Lionel locomotives. Reason being is this, just last week, as usual, picking up collections from the hobby in that aspect. So I got a number of older Lionels.
Is that the Pacific?
Yeah, it looks like a Hudson to me.
It's a Hudson.
464.
Yep, it's a mid-50s locomotive type of thing. Well, the point is that the lady
beautiful.
had a number of them in the boxes, or in the, in totes.
In the
stored
orange
away.
boxes, right? The orange
Well,
Lionel boxes.
these ones weren't even in the orange boxes because they had deteriorated, that type of stuff. She told me most of these have sat in the box, in a tote, for like 20 years and haven't run. Haven't been out about. Her husband collected a few of them. So, they actually had a couple of the Frisco diesel ones. But the amazing part that I think with Lionel is, no matter the age, no matter how long they sit there, when the older ones, they were built to last. Now, it hasn't been torn apart, it hasn't that way, but once you put it on the layout, give it a little power, it doesn't take much, you've got it running around.
It goes.
And it just, considering how old of it is, and it's been sitting doing nothing, when they built it to last.
Right.
And it just gets out here and goes, and that's the one thing with Lionel that I've always had the luck with it, unless, like I said, it's been really played with too much or damaged, but it really doesn't take much to get them going, as I've learned more and more how to not try to fix them, I don't want to say that, but get a little more with it, because you start getting more and more different things that standpoint. So,
I have mine from 1958 that I got when I was a kid, and it's in my basement, but it hasn't run for 40, 50 years, I guess.
I could believe it probably
why don't bring it onto the show sometime?
Sometime and power it up that way. And the other thing that I've brought then is Glenda and I next week are going out to Florida.
Okay.
To Florida, excuse me, Las Vegas. Woo! Going there I go.
Edit.
Edit right there. That's it. You know, I don't know why. That's it. So going out to Vegas, and I vaguely remember, this is when I was maybe 15 years old, that I think when I was out in Vegas with my father and that, we went out train shopping or train hunting or whatever, and I thought we came to a train club out in Las Vegas, and he had bought 2 of these cars.
Okay.
Because they've always been on the shelf and that type of thing. Glitter Gulch and Western Railroad. Now, I've used the internet, and I cannot find anything about it. I believe this was the roundhouse box that came in, has nothing written on it. So when I'm out in Vegas next week, we've got the car, maybe a little gambling, but we'll go drive around and maybe do some of the hobby shops and that, and maybe I'll bring this car with me and just see if anybody remembers something that way. And I'm sure being on the show, somebody will tell me all about it now. So,
Nice.
But, so that's what I figured I would bring it here with that aspect. And then I guess one other little thing that's been going on, to keep going on, that Glenda and I have been doing a number of train shows. And same thing, every train show that we've been doing has been very good. Last week, our friend Dirk had a train show. The show was very, very, very well attended. We did very well. A few weeks ago, we were in Vandalia for train show, and the same thing. The amount of people coming in here, what they're buying. The hobby is still doing very well with what I sell in that aspect, so I'm happy with that. And right after we get back from Vegas, we'll be out in the Iron Spike is going to have their train show. So we're always excited of getting our stuff going together and doing it that way. So
Yeah, for sure.
Great.
That is very cool. That Hudson, it's a Hudson. It's absolutely beautiful. It reminds me of my childhood. We had one of those running around the aluminum Christmas tree.
I believe
With the
it.
color wheel.
Yes, with the color wheel.
Yes, the color wheel.
Oh,
That was it.
goodness.
Oh, yeah. That's,
How well I remember that. Running those curves too fast, the first thing I discovered, it's the classification lights that get broken off first.
Yeah.
Yes. Been there, done that. Daniel Coombs, you're here tonight. Tell us, what have you been working on?
Well, a lot of things here. I got some on the table. And first, to just recap to everyone, I appreciate you all reaching out. But my life with work, I'm working 10-hour shifts 5 days a week, so it's kind of really hard. Not saying it's hard to have a personal life, but getting back home around 1 a.m. or getting off work around 1 a.m., getting home at 2 o'clock in the morning doesn't leave me a lot of leeway time to do as lot as I could when I was on the day shift. But you know what? Hey, it's not bad working nights,
I like it.
But anyway, so going on with that, to summarize all what I've been going on, I have got a couple things on my list here. It'll only take a couple minutes of our time. So first off on the right here, you guys will notice 2 locomotives of mine. The Montana Rail Link Thank You to All Essential Workers. Of course, I had got that because being in the repair industry, working on locomotives as a mechanic full time, and through COVID, they had created all that heritage unit, I believe, to thank all the essential workers. So I thought, well, why not just add that to my collection? It's got soundtrack Tsunami 2 in there. Thank you, George, for that wonderful sound and the Athearn model. Coming over to the left of that, on my left, you got a City Rail ES44 GEVO, a 1209. And now as a scale, this is my first ever scale trains purchase. Now, however, I got the DC ready model because, of course, like I just said about the Montana Rail, I'd rather just prefer to have soundtracks. It's just my personal preference or choice.
Okay.
So I had to go through, and I do have clips here showing taking out the model, taking out the original circuit board, and kind of putting some stuff back together. I don't have a full in-depth video on how to do it, but I put a Nix Trains decoder buddy, the Tsunami 2 21-pin, and 2 Sugar Cube speakers from Scale Trains that they supply for the DC ready models if you want to upgrade it into sound. Got all the lights functioning. Stuff like that. So
That's what I would have done.
yeah, Mike's just like, to the point, I don't want to know anything else but that. So moving on here to the dead center. Now, Ken, I think you'll remember the weathering solution decals from our old friend Joe Steinman.
Yeah.
And Eddie Bauer.
And Ed Bauer, yep. The gentleman created a very fine product there for an amateur weatherer like me, and thus you'll see 3 cars here that I actually attacked with oils for the very first time this week. I just thought at the split second, why don't I go ahead and just give it a shot? These are some couple cheap cars. These are 2 AccuRails. This is a car I got with the Soundtrack Tsunami sound car in it, though. But beyond that, I decided also to get some decals. Now, a couple decals here. This sheet and this sheet was from Weathering Solutions. And then a couple of these others are from CMR Products, which they do supply with the graffiti decal pack. Of course, it's been butchered up a little bit. Thus, I have created, it's this car right here. I know I'll have to get in closer with this, but basically I went ahead and tacked everything with oils. I tacked with a red brown, a brown, and a rustic brown. And I went on ahead and created out a wash first on this. And then I had decided going ahead and just put the decals on the bottom per, not prototypical standards. This was just something in my head that I decided I'm just going to paint up to try to get to just try to experiment with weathering, because I'm not much of I'm a guy that with little patience.
You'll get better.
Weathering does take a little bit more patience than,
right.
What anything else will do. So, yeah.
We like to say inexpensive cars, not
Inexpensive
right.
cars.
Yeah,
that's
the other thing.
All right, one thing to
Inexpensive.
point out about the Weathering Solutions, weathering decals, what it was it was a concept. Whereas we are so used to watching Mike Budde dribble on oil paints onto the side of a freight car or rat-a-tat them on with a screwdriver or a knife, and then take a straight 1-inch paintbrush and pull the rust streaks straight down. Well, unless you've done that over and over again, it's very difficult to get a straight down pull every time as you work your way across the freight car. And so sometimes you'd get a crooked one, and if that happens, it destroys the whole visual of the car, because obviously rain runs down the car based on gravity.
Might have been parked on a hill.
No. So over time, as these freight cars would start to leach and rust down the side of the paint, what Joe Steinman and Eddie came up with was a way to make decals that were already the right color of burnt umber and raw sienna, or various other types of weathering decals, and then you didn't have to pull anything down straight. All you had to do was do your basic wash on the car of crud and grime, and then put on these individual rust decals. And that's what Weathering Solutions products were at the time. And are they still making this stuff? I'm not even sure.
I don't think so. That's just some that I had obtained from one of the RPM shows, I think 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Here in town when it was in Collinsville. So, yeah, that's pretty much on my plate. And one more thing, I had went on ahead and finally got to run my trans on a layout. I'm actually going to send some B-roll here that I have caught of the whole layout. K10's over in Maryville, Illinois. Layout out there. Was able to go out there for a little bit and run some of my locomotives that I had finished finally, because you get those projects that dawn on your shelves and you're looking at it like, I'm going to get to it, and next week goes by, and then the following week, I'm still going to get to it. Nope, not going to get to it, because what do you need? Well, for one, a job, money, and then thirdly, the time to do it.
Right.
I'm sure you guys can all relate about that mostly.
Oh, no.
So I got a lot of videos and pictures here of some recent locomotive projects. Of course, I had got soundtracks, decoders, put in current keepers, LED lights running on a layout, etc. And that's pretty much what I've been up to recently. But like I said, there's not a lot of personal time with trying to work nights and having the weekends off. Thank you for that. I thank my employer for that very much. But about the only time, that's why I haven't been here for so long.
It's good to have you here, and I hope that we get to run some trains tonight.
Hope so, too.
Mike, tell me, you've got a lot of little things going on there that I'm probably going to have to take photos of or shoot with the camera. What have you brought tonight?
A bunch of 3D printed parts, mainly truck parts and truck beds from Dana Stratton at 3dmodeldesigns.com.
Okay.
But the coolest thing I thought right away was this little 20-foot deck over trailer with the operating ramps on the back. It comes with the wood deck, and it went together in like a half hour. I painted it black, and it's kind of a neat little kit. I can think of all kinds of uses for something like that.
Very nice, yes.
So, and then he's got all kinds of different truck beds that maintenance away vehicles would use, or utilities and extra crew boxes and all different kinds of stuff. Then all kinds of little detail parts too, workbenches and tool boxes. I don't know what all that stuff is. A little compressor, a jerry can.
That acetylene car with the oxyacetylene combination and the torch kit.
On a two-wheeler, yeah. And then here's a couple more
I see a
acetylene tanks here.
MIG welder machine right to your right there, Mike, on the very front.
Yeah. Yeah, well, anyway, and here's a crane
That's
and
cool.
high rail kit for a vehicle. Anyway, he's got all kinds of stuff. I mean, these 3D. He's really proud of these frames, these custom frames. A lot of these truck guys.
Are those container chassis frames?
No, they're for truck like 18 wheelers. A lot of guys are really into customizing their 187 scale big rigs, and so he just sells these straight frames with the axles that you can position wherever you want.
Gotcha.
And
Okay.
cut off what you don't need. But some of those guys build really long ones with a huge sleeper, and so that's a nice thing to have.
Wow, that is cool.
So
Really cool.
anyway, thanks to Dana for that. He'll be at the RPM this summer. He comes every year.
Really.
Yeah.
That is very cool.
I know the RPM dates have already been posted, if I'm not mistaken, maybe at the end of July at some
July
point.
28th and 29th,
Thank
I
you.
think.
That is correct. I have those dates memorized because a lot of people have been asking me about that. I got asked that question today. I don't remember who I was talking to on the phone, but they asked me when is RPM meet here in St. Louis. When's the next show here local? And that's it. We're not going to do the NMRA show. I don't believe we're going to travel to that and shoot a show from there. It would be kind of nice just to get out of the house and go visit that show. But if I do that, I got to bring all the equipment and get enough interviews for an entire What's Neat show at Model Railroad Hobbyist magazine, which for the last 4 months we've been running how to build this shelf layout that gets worked into a very large 12 by 5 foot layout. And the last episode of that is May's video, which will be coming out. And then after that, I'm soliciting for material for the What's Neat show. Or I've got to start getting down here and creating more material and spending more of my life in this basement like I used to do 4 years ago or 3 years ago. So this is a very interesting challenge coming up with regards to show production. I know Jennifer Kirk has made a lot of videos for us, and so has George Bogatuk. And there's a lot of other people that I'm sure that might be able to lend their talents to that show to help create how-to material and just share it as what they do for this, the best hobby in the world. So anybody wants to do that, contact us in reader comments, or if you go to my website, kenpatterson.com, you can find my email address on that website and contact me directly, and I will respond after a period of a few days.
I know someone specific that'll probably do something.
You do?
You're looking at them.
Yay!
There we go. See?
Yeah, so what I might do is now that they got that Blue Nami sound decoder, you can put it in your phone. Maybe I can do a quick how-to on how to convert it into an Athearn locomotive with a quick plug in it.
You can do anything you want.
I can do it even at my
You
house.
still
I got a
your
camera.
home layout at home?
I do. I've been working on that steadily. I don't have pictures of it, but maybe if you want, we can do a little update on it. And now it's not perfect, but I'm getting hot and heavy in operations. I got the car cart system. I'm laying that all out.
Wow.
Right.
So we're going to get into that. And I was at John Schindler's St. Louis Junction Railroad Company, an operating session there a couple weeknights ago, and got to operate there. But you know what? I think the bug has finally bit me. After that last night I was there, I'm like,
you're an
I'm going to
operating
get
guy,
into
huh?
it.
I need that bug to bite me because essentially to rip up the third rail on this layout, there's so many modules that are dedicated to narrow gauge specifically now on this layout. As I explained it to Holly last night, I literally need to replace the layout, great portions of it, which thankfully I designed it in such a way where the whole layout is nothing but flat tabletop surfaces with 2-inch foam stacked, 4 to 8 inches thick in various areas. Whereas you go to the hardware store, you buy the foam, you build your base, and now you come up with a concept for that module. Because all the turnouts on this layout are all 3-rail turnouts. It's going to be a very expensive endeavor, but it'll make for a lot of quality material for the What's Neat show, and maybe some more prototype locations. Like, it's something I really like to do because it takes all the guesswork out of everything.
Right.
When you have a prototype location to build and model, you're following simply what's there. Instead of working out of books and freelancing and doing whatever, your job is what is there. And that makes my job easier, I think. It really takes the guesswork out of it. So with all the storms tonight, I do want to say one last thing. Denny Yelsma's jackets. Holly put on the blue one tonight. And I'm so thankful. She loves storms like I do. So we both went out in the rain and watched this storm roll in, and that jacket is waterproof. When she came back inside, it was dry. So Denny,
Wow.
your jackets are like ships. They're watertight. And I even thought about shooting B-roll of her out there, but I didn't.
Oh, hey, speaking of Denny, a shout out again. I'm sorry, I just wanted to, because I haven't been on so long now I'm in the groove to say
Right.
stuff that Mr. Yelsma, you have done a phenomenal job. I went on ahead and sent him a draft shirt for the organization I'm part of, the Wabash Frisco Pacific 12-inch gauge live steam organization that I volunteer at. And he made me 2 crew shirts, and I'm very, very satisfied with the results. I went on ahead and sent him, and back and forth communication, and
There
he's
you
just
go.
like, I'm going to cut you some slack. I said, no need, Denny. You do your work, and I'm going to pay you what you want to charge me. Thus, again, if you're interested, if you're a club or anything, that, of course, talking to the club members up there, and I think maybe we might get some more shirts ordered. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. But once again, Denny did a phenomenal job. I've actually got a couple clips here to show, too. Just the shirt,
Those shirts,
pictures
yes.
of the
Nice.
front,
Some, they're
sleeves.
nice
They're
looking.
very impressive.
Yes,
Yeah,
they
they're
are.
very
They
good.
are.
No doubt
Nice.
about it.
Now,
It's
of
always
course,
impressive.
he makes a lot of like shirts just generally for wear, and I told him, look, I'm going to be working in it, and I'm going to be maybe sweating, and he says, don't worry, I'm going to give you a quality work shirt or a nice shirt, but one that will not rip up. But I tell you what, good job on it, and maybe I'll even take a picture crewing on one of the trains this running season.
Oh,
Maybe
cool.
you'll be modeling it down the catwalk or something. You know, your
Yeah,
shirt.
maybe,
that type of thing, you know,
and then just be like posing in,
yeah,
maybe
doing
for
your
PR.
poses. Oh, here you go.
You say, hey, have you checked us out at the WabashFriscoPacific.org? Well, here's the disclosure of who we are and what we do.
Very cool. Well, he'll be here next week, so you can hang out with him.
Yes!
Yeah.
That's good.
So
That's
rock and roll.
very good.
So this is where I take the NCE Pro Cab Hammerhead throttle, and I give it to Daniel because he loves using it.
Neato.
Steve Mantia is going to get the smaller
I
throttle
get the
tonight,
small one now.
which is really nice. LED readout display on it. It's They're both well laid out systems that run this entire layout down here flawlessly. DCC from NCE is amazing. NCE, the power of DCC. Thank you very much for helping us support this, the best hobby in the world, and helping us run our trains down here every Saturday night. So with that, guys, this is show number 231 for April 15th. We're going to sign off, and let's go run some trains.
All right.
Right.
I know, right? Here, we gotta do a thumbnail shot. How many people are gonna say what happened to your hand? I cut it
every-
on a piece of glass. It's simple. It'll be
it.
good in 8
Okay.
weeks.
That's
It's
it.
like a spare tire. You fix it. Okay. What are we doing for? Oh, I want to hold this. Ready?
Just use your other hand. Or don't do something where you have to show it.
That's all good. Okay, show camera number 1, RT, as the credits are rolling. I've got a lot of B-roll today. Ready? Here we go. And that's the thumbnail shot.
Oh my gosh, it's like old times for me. I'm glad to finally be back here, guys.
Remember during COVID, you sat down here and you and I did a show by ourselves in
I
the
know,
afternoon?
that was
You were-
pretty darn cool.
You were so great at that.
I know. It's been about, 5 years in the making that we've been doing it.
We started this show in 2017.
We did. I remember being on one of the first few General Pilot episodes after you four guys, I can't remember all the names offhand, but you guys sat down here and,
We have a
hit it
whole
off.
family out there that loves to watch the show, and they
know.
really appreciate that.
I know.
do. There's
Family
a lot
and
of
friends.
Yeah.
a lot of people that when I do the shows come up to me and talk about the show and how much they love watching you and
We're
see what
gracious.
goes on in
Yeah.
the basement.
Yep.
I'm amazed by
I
it.
want to strike up.
Everybody, yes.
I want to strike up conversations. In fact, our RPM and other train shows around, like the NMRA, I got approached about 30 more times around there, and they're just like, "Man, your camp, are you?" It's like, yes.